Okay, well, New Year fun starts with the axle, and also I'm doing the brake servo and master cylinder. This was the brake servo I had. Car didn't actually come with one. This was one I've salvaged, so we don't know the condition of this just yet, but we can get it opened up and checked by the specialist. They've got the tool to open this up. I was under the impression you could open this by making yourself a bracket with some very thick steel, probably 4 or 5 mil bracket plate, to go over these bolts to lock it in position in a vise, and then putting a long bar with 2 holes in it here, bit of box section, and twisting, rotating them so that these tabs twist round and land in the recesses, and I think it opens up. That's what I thought you could do. Different in opinions on that one. People saying it can't be opened. The Haynes manual, early manuals, show a rotating action to open it up. So I'm not sure what to do. The master cylinder, that was rusty and it's gone into the tumbler. I'm not going to show you the tumbler because we overcooked the tumbler on the last video. We've all seen enough of that. I proved the point. If you don't know what I mean about the parts tumbler, check part 24, episode 24 of the Ruby restoration videos, and you'll see the parts tumbler. This was a rusty master cylinder, and it brought it up a treat, so that's clean. And what we're going to do, I've left the brake hoses on, the brake line fittings on, just left them on. It's going to get rebuilt, but before it does, it's going to get zinc passivated first. The brake company don't do that as a service. They just shot blast and paint them silver. I don't want that. I want it in gold or a light zinc colour, not sure which yet. I've seen them in gold, but I've also seen them in this gunmetal type colour, so probably do gold simply because I've got a batch going in. So I've taken off the reservoir, and I'm going to show you how I did that, because you can break these taking them off. If you're refurbing this like I'm doing, you're going to want to take that tank off, and you're going to well, you're not necessarily going to struggle, but some people may struggle. I did in the early days before I found a technique that's worked. This technique I'm going to show you now might not work for everybody, and you've got to be careful with it. I'm going to just show you what I did to get the reservoir off. So I'm going to take it across to the sink now where I've been cleaning the plastic reservoir. Over we go. Let's have a look at the reservoir. Okay, just at the workshop sink now. Reservoir's in some bleach. Taking it off, and it's in some bleach there. It's just having a little wash. You can put these in the dishwasher. Our dishwasher's not actually running at the moment. Someone ripped the power lead out the back of it when they moved it. Anyway, it's coming up nice. You can see the nice white finish on the reservoir. Before I tell you how I took it off, I'll just show you a way of cleaning inside, because this was stood for a long time and there's places you can't reach by scrubbing and washing alone. Little crevices in there. Used a toothbrush and a scrubbing brush there just for the outside. For the inside, I put some rice, hard dried rice in there, and shook the hell out of it, and that gets into all little places and scrubs off. There's still a few bits to do, but I'm going to hit it with the air gun as well. The rice has now stopped working and I've still got some speckles, so we're going to get the air nozzle and blast out inside there and hopefully clear the rest. You can just see some dark patches. We want to blow those out. Once I start getting something clean, I like it to be all the way clean. The cap came off okay. Now you've got a brake seal, an identification tag, which is locked, and once they lock in, you can't unlock them. They're one-way clips. So what I did for mine, if you take a Stanley blade, a good sharp one, don't use a one you've been using, get a fresh blade, slice in just at the edge, and that cuts that seal, but it allows you to re-glue it later without damaging it. So I've just gone halfway in. What I'll do, I'll super glue that up and just lightly paper it down, and hopefully you won't see that joint, but there's no other way. I mean, you could cut anywhere on there, but the glue won't take as well on the curved areas of the ratchet strap. You're better off going where you've got some more surface area. So more surface area for the glue there, and of course not cutting through it all helps. Probably could have got away with a less deep cut than that once you've cut that little nozzle, but you want to leave you want to leave a little end on the end of the tag so you can push it back in. That clips back in still, and with the glue you're good to go. So that's your ID tag, which you've got to have on. Well, no, you've not got to have it on, but if you're doing a restoration, you want it to look as original as possible. These were fitted just at the neck of the reservoir there and just dangled down. So I'm not 100% sure exactly what it signifies. There are some numbers on it which somebody out there will know exactly what they mean. I've got they're either 9s or 6s. I'm saying they're 9, so I've got a 10999 number. Altogether the numbers, let's have a look at them. On my upside down, and I printed on the inside 60740 210G, and then the rest of the numbers there, 666, don't like that, 0101 6074. Anyway, numbers on the brake master cylinder ID tag, bleached as well, caps in there nice and clean, no problem with that. These will go into stores. Just doing it now while they're on the bench so they can get them out of the way. Stuff that's right in front of me at the moment while the car's getting painted, I'm getting out of the way. So it's got to be sent off actually, because it's getting rebuilt and re-sleeved. So I want to send it off to the brake specialist all nicely clean. So I said I'd tell you about this separation system. Now you've got two screws here at the top. They're often rusted. Luckily these look like stainless steel or brass inserts, so they don't corrode, so you can get away with those two screws. You might find the heads break off them or the heads round off because the screws are usually pretty corroded. I gripped them with them Teng long nose pliers, a really nice tight grip, then very slowly work the screw and then it'll go. I think you'll be okay with those. Let them soak for a day in penetrating oil, though that will help. I left this to soak and that helped. Once those two screws are off, you're able to rotate the reservoir on this end here. I've actually got a stone from the tumbler stuck in this, so we can't. There's a stone just from the tumbler. I'm going to remove that so I can carry on the demo. Hold on, get that stone out. Okay, we're good to go there on the reservoir. So reservoir would now rotate, but before you do it, here's the trick. This could be seized in there, and as you rotate you're going to try and twist off the neck here of the bottle. So you don't want to put any stress on that the neck of that bottle there. So what I did, luckily on the workshop here, we've got very hot water, almost boiling. So get yourself a kettle or a good water geyser, whatever you want to get your hot water from. Boil it up, drop this whole thing in to very hot water, right? That'll soften that plastic at the end and get this hot, this metal hot. So when you do that, start to put a little bit of side force on it and hopefully that'll twist. They normally go, and it'll twist round, and then you're able to start getting some motion on it. With it being warm, helps to expand out. The metal expands faster than the plastic, and it just helps a little bit with the seal. Then the real trick to separate these without ripping off this or stressing this here, it's pretty forgiving, but it will tear. The real trick is rock it like that, and as you're rocking it, get your thumb and just start to prise upwards, then get your rest of your fingers in and just put upward force as you're rocking it that way. Come round and back, and then it will go. If it's not going, try heating it again. But what I did as well to help, this becomes a bit softer, but I poured cold water on the surround of it here just to stiffen this bit up, and hopefully left a little bit of that still soft. It just helped because it can get too flexible. So I just tried to, you could use freeze it spray as well. You could put freeze it spray, which is just aerosol you can get from plumbers for freezing pipes. You can freeze around there, not too much in case it cracks. just to get that stiff but that bit soft. Or you could perhaps use a hot air gun on just this area and heat just that area up, and that might work as well. I used hot water and rotated and slowly drew it out. It's on a kind of a barb, and it's that causes the lock. The barb here is also locked into a rubber insert in there, which they'll replace. So that got me off. I needed to get the tank off because I wanted to clean it. You can't clean it on there. You can't be painting this cylinder really, although you could paint the cylinder if you could just rotate it that far, I suppose. But I wanted to give it a good wash out and get this in the parts tumbler and get it off for its nice galvanising. So we now have those parts. Put that with the nuts and bolts that are going off for zinc. Get the compressed air and blast out the rest of the little bits of dirt in there. Then wrap that for now. When this comes back, put that, we'll leave the tag, I'll do the tag, that and the cap together and send it off to the brake guys. They'll re-sleeve it, take it all to bits. Really all you've got there is a carcass, just the metal body. The insides might be damaged because it's been in water and all sorts. I knew that, but it was seized anyway. So they'll take it apart and hopefully they won't damage the valve. I'll see what they say. But that was my plan of action for that. Again, often this happens, but YouTube you might have some suggestions. A better way of doing it than I've just done it, but it seems to be okay. I'm learning all the time, of course. Don't take it as the gospel truth that that's the way you do it. I'm just telling you that separation system worked for me, and I've tried these in the past. I have broke one in the past as well. I'm trying to get hold of one of those bottles that's the correct Girling one. You know, I'm a bit concerned. I'm worried about breaking it. That is a Girling one because I can see the logo. It's the correct one for the car. Here's the cap, the correct cap for the car for the year. Should look something like that with Ford on it at the top. It's important to get that. You can get aftermarket ones, I believe, and they're just plain caps, but it's nice to have the real deal cap on it. You know what I'm like, fussing over stuff like this, but there's others out there like me. I know you're out there watching. You're just keeping quiet, and we'll do that. And you know, I like me cleaning. I'm going to go back to that workshop in a minute. We're going to give it a clean, but I'm not going to film that, and I'm not going to film the tumbler. Don't worry. So I go back to the workshop now. I go back to the workshop with this and blast it out with a compressed air. We'll just see if we can get the rest of it out. Then we'll switch to stripping that axle down, get them brake lines off it and get that ready for its soda blast. I've ordered some Frost chassis black paint and primer, which googling it up gets good reviews. So when that arrives in the post, we'll have our black primer for the axle, satin black for the axle. The axle's not getting taken to pieces, it's just getting sealed off from the soda blast and then blasted and then painted, and then all the brakes will get rebuilt on it. Nice new Cupro nickel brake lines on, brake shoes and everything. Compressed air next, let's go. Okay, I'm going to carry on with the air nozzle. Just try and get any more places I can't reach. Looks like some of the dirt there is stubborn. I can just see, you can see it too. There's a couple of little bits. We'll get so as far as we can. We're not going to go crazy on it. We'll clean it up the best we can. That's the idea. This just that's not got any decals or letters printed on it as the sides have. So because of that at the top, I'm going to very lightly, the finest wet and dry I can get, because I can see some surface scratches on it. Look, I'll catch the light for you, see those? We may as well, while we're on it, just flat them off. It won't take a minute to do. We'll make sure we don't take off the Max and Min logos, so just the top and just round there, a little bit at the side. We'll just give it a touch up with some 2000 paper. I think 2000 should work. I'll test a little sample underneath first. Won't do underneath, no need, it's not seen. I'll quick wipe, that's all. I'm not going to go crazy, I'm not that bad, you know. Cap needs nothing doing, so great, perfect for the cap. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with those items that can be ready when that car comes back. You'll thank yourself that you've done these kind of jobs, because you'll just be opening boxes with all your pre-prepared stuff and it won't hold up your rebuild. There's nothing better than when the shell comes back that all your parts are just all ready and done. I mean, that's not to say that it'll necessarily work and you'll get a delay, because even when you get them rebuilt you can have problems, but at least you'll keep moving and you'll have all your stuff coming out of your boxes. Jury's out on whether I try and split this. I'm tempted, out of curiosity, to see if that will rotate and split. I've got a scrap one actually, which I could use instead, rather than damage this potentially good one, because you could break off those studs at the front of that brake servo. It's possible. I've got a new old stock brake servo as well, but the casing's scratched. I'd ideally like to get that casing powder coated, but the option B might be that we've just got to seal it off and soda blast it, and then probably have to do a bit of fill and prime on that too. That's a high vis item. Let's just go over to it, bring it in and we can see what's going on. It's a high vis item, so if you're doing your Cortina Resto or any classic, especially the Capris, the Escorts, they've all got these right in the engine base facing off the bulkhead. High vis item, so it's got to be right. It's one of the first things you tend to see in the engine bay as well. So I really want to make a good job on this. It's got to look absolutely bang on. So the whole assembly is all going to complement each other. You know, going to all the effort of getting these cleaned up and then spoil it with a poor finish on your housing. Also, the new old stock ones have some white decal lettering on there, which will replicate as well with some stencils. So we'll just let me brain just move around a bit and see if I'm going to do that. Whilst I'm on, my left arm is reaching across to grab this, the Sealy LED rechargeable torch, currently flat because someone borrowed it and didn't give me my charger back. Now, it's a great unit, strong mag mount there with a swivel head on it, a ball and socket joint, so you just stick on and off you go, and you can get it in virtually any angle you want. So that was the torch I was talking about on part 24 that I didn't show you. Rubber, so boom boom and shake the room, you're alright. So just boom boom, shake the room. You can drop it, basically is what I'm saying, convolutedly. Little hook on there for under the engine bay. Hook goes up under the engine bay again. It can, well, you can't actually angle it with the hook, so you just got to hope for the best. You could counterbalance it, I guess, with this. Let's not go too far into it, but it's a great rechargeable torch. There is a more compact version available too, with a USB plug on it. That's the only downside. It could have done with a USB, but industrial wise USB won't cut it. It'll be broken no time, so they've gone for a waterproof plug at the back, probably better for garage use anyway. The USB 1 version of this is smaller, and that's probably better for your toolkit for technicians and engineers. So I'm going to go and get one actually, because I'm always missing this. Downside, you get a couple of hours non-stop use and then it's flat, and it won't run with the power cable straight in the back. So if it's flat and you think I'll just run a cable in it, you can't. You've got to charge it up first before it'll switch on. But having said that, I rate it. I do rate that piece of kit. If there's one out there that runs on a lead and recharges and got rubber and got a flexi head, I'll be interested in buying it. But that's the Sealy one, about 40 quid, 45 quid. Sounds expensive, but it's one of them things. Oh, there's a light at the front as well. You just press the button for and cycle through the light, 2 brightness levels and a light on the front. You can use that if you don't want to. That'll get a lot longer battery out of it if you just have the front light on. If you don't need all the illumination, the lux power of all that. If it's a job which you'll get away with just the end, use it as a torch. So that was it. Look, you can get it off the metal. Enough of that, let's move on to something else. Axle next, let's go and have a look at the axle. Come on, let's go. So then, axle on the axle stand, and we start to make our first assessment of the situation. Looking like original brake lines, or whoever did them, if they're not originals, done them perfectly. These are the correct radius and routing for your brake lines. So again, if you're doing concours, or if you're just doing a really nice job of your car, which may as well be concours, then take note of these brake line routes. It's going to be handy reference this in part 25. Look how neat these are, right? You can make your brake pipes up, your Cupra nickel, use Cupro nickel, it's better. You can make them up, and I've done it, and they're just shoved in the back and they just run along there any old how. But why not just get it right? Look at these curves, these radii, following very neatly along there into the axle clip. These often break off, so if you're doing your axle, don't forget to re-weld on some nice tabs for yourself. You can even see that they've put rubber round that. Now that could be a factory thing to stop it wearing through on any vibration. A nice curve across there for the input pipe. Look at the input pipe. Tidy, that bracket's bent, we'll straighten that. And then going across the right angle across the diff cover, there's our diff tag as well. Incidentally, this is a 3.7 diff. I've seen 3.79s, I've seen 3.75s. I've never seen a 3.7 ratio dish. Code on that 72BG. Okay. Going across, centre tag on your casing, rear casing cover. That'll get powder coated, no need to satin. That will make a nice job on that. We'll do these bolts in gold or silver, not sure, or stainless. We'll see. Across we go, following the line, and then ending up on the other side there. So those brake lines, we want to take them off intact so that we can copy exactly that shape. So we don't want to break these. We're throwing them away eventually, or no, we'll keep them forever for reference, but you know, normally just cut them and get your spanner on the end of there. So you need the brake spanner, which has a slot cut out of it, so you can get your spanner, ring spanner on. If you've not got one, then you just angle grind a slot in a spanner you don't need. Slot it on and undo it, I believe. I think they're either 11 or 12. They can vary actually. So your brake fittings, we'll undo those. Some penetrating fluid on first. Okay, take the brake lines off, and then we'll remove the void bushes there, get them off. We'll take this tag off because don't like getting soda blasted, it'll damage the finish. So undo that bolt, take the tag off, drop that bolt back on. We want it all dust proof for the soda. We will be taking measures to block any holes. The holes at the end are sealed by the half shafts, so nothing's going to get in there. The only place it's going to get in is the breather tube at the top. So we can either unscrew it and screw a dead end bolt in there, or we can tape that up, whatever we want to do. Bear in mind that tape will get blasted by the soda and fly off, so I think it's a bolt, isn't it? So axle, getting ready to go off for soda as part of the restoration. These can be taken off because the soda might attack them. It probably will. Anything that's plastic, the soda will damage. They're the brake shoe adjuster buttons that you press to. No one ever uses them, or they don't seem to. They always get forgotten about. They push that in and it self-adjusts the clearance on the shoes, I think. I'm almost sure. A knackered old handbrake cable, we'll just slice that, leave the ends on. We'll take the drums off so that the soda blaster can do the inside face of the drum plate, and then we'll have our paint gun with our chassis black in it, and it'll come back onto these axle stands or trestles here, and then we can spray this, or we could suspend it from the ceiling on hooks so that the spray gun's not going to leave marks there. We'll see. We could chock it up, lift it, or might suspend it on some wires and leave the trestles under for safety. We don't know. But that's one job. You've got your flange plate at the front. I'm not going to take that off. I'm not touching it because this nut here, I believe, is a collapsible washer. If I take that off, I don't know if I'm going to mess around with the way the axle is. I've learned from axles, you can spend 500 quid getting one rebuilt, and there might be nothing wrong with this one. It could be really low mileage. So if it fails, if it's noisy, if it's whining, yes, it'll come off, and it's a couple of hours job, 2, 3, 4 hour job, messing with your axle off and back on again. It's not the end of the world. Leave that to me now. Let me get a spanner and I shall take off the brake lines. Here we go for brake lines coming off. Just before we start on the axle strip down, We talked about torches just before. Every now and again in the videos now I'm going to try and help you out with bits and bobs that I use, and I'll just tell you what I think about them. I think I'd mentioned Henry. Well, you can't go wrong. He's a great piece of kit. There is a Vax one as well. No, not Vax, a Karcher, similar to Henry. I just picked one up over Christmas for 50 quid, brand new. Henry's comes out at 99 quid. These are UK prices as at 2017. Look out if you're going to get a Vax, because the Vax, no, not the Vax, the Karcher one is wet and dry. I don't think Henry's wet and dry, but the Karcher one is wet and dry. So, and it's 50 quid, and it's got as good power pickup as Henry. I would believe it's probably going to do as good as Henry does. I think the motor wattage is the same. Anyway, so Henry's good. Talked about that inspection light there, my rubber case one. This is the smaller compact version. I've just gone out and bought it because it's one of them things I just need in my toolkit, my electronics toolkit. So more compact version than the other rubber cased one I'll keep for the workshop. So this one is actually better in terms of the charger because we're USB at the back with a nice waterproof plug. So we're USB at the back, a charging indicator on it. This was 30 quid. It's a Sealy one. Don't go to Whole Foods and get Whole Foods crap. I think they're expensive and not as good. I don't rate them. Magnet base, a swivel head, just a compact version of that one. Bloody bright. I mean, that's dazzling me. Good for little jobs. Good for under your engine bay. Good to have in your glove box. I'd stick that in your Cortina glove box, as simple as that. Put that in the Cortina glove box. Keep a USB lead in the glove box with it, and an adapter for your cigarette socket. Don't forget, on your Cortina cigarette socket you need the deeper type cigarette plug. The short ones don't fit in. What I did with mine is I managed to buy one, a funny shaped one with a long nose on it that fits in the Cortina cigarette socket. If not, you can get an extension lead, cigarette socket extension lead off eBay for a couple of quid. They normally have the non-tapering plug, the not banana plug, cigar plug, that just goes straight into the Cortina socket, and from that you can then plug the end of that, you can plug in your USB adapter. From that you'd plug in to the back of here. So keep that kit in your car, on your toolbox of the Cortina, because under the engine bay you can just stick this magnet. Make sure you wipe the base of the magnet before you put it on the car, or put something between it, something thin, piece of card, because iron filings on the bottom of there in your engine bay could scratch your paint, so watch out for that if you do it. But this is a great piece of kit there. We've got front and torch light on it, and that's the way it is. Compact, pretty bright. We'll see how long that lasts, but yeah, that's the Sealy one. I got mine from a Sealy dealer, which you should be able to go into a motor factors yourself and just go in there. Here's the Sealy catalogue, and there's the page with all the torches on. LED 360 range they call it. You can see the one that I showed you before to the right, middle one in on your shot there, middle one in on your shot, that's item D. They're showing that at $54.95, 65 including that, so it ain't cheap. 500 lumens on that one. I've just bought the baby one there. That came in at 34 quid with the VAT. Lumens on that, looking at the lumens, 400. So, oh sorry, not 400A, isn't it? We're down here. 180 lumens, so it's not as bright. But for compact jobs, it's going to be good. I'm using it in my electronics field toolkit that I use at work. I'm just fed up with batteries running out. I've always got a USB charger in the Mondeo, so I can always get a charge on. I've learned throughout the years there's nothing better than a decent torch. Really isn't. Especially when doing jobs. That fruit machine video could have done with this yesterday. Right, moving on. Something else has arrived. Christmas has come early. It's come 12 months early. Frost have sent out the paint. I talked about it just before, but I didn't know it was by my delivery door. So here it is. Extreme Chassis Black. That's the primer. Okay, we're going to try that. Extreme Chassis Black. A US quart. No idea on the converter. Oh, half a litre there. Okay, and then To go with it, you go in Extreme Chassis satin underbody coating, and that's it. Great for your clip, your front clip, if you don't want a powder coat. Great for your axle. So that's going to be the stuff. We're hoping that'll spray. I might ring them and ask, or read on the back. It might tell me if it can be sprayed or not. Doesn't sound mega thick. I don't want to thin it down. It doesn't spray, it's going to have to be brushed. Frost have sent a catalogue. We'll have a look through that. Some bedtime reading tonight and see what's out there. Wonder if they've got part tumblers in there. Haha. Right, so that's that. Torch, paint. We go to the axle now. Just before I go, it says on here USB charge. They could have changed the range now that all torches have got USB chargers. It might have been based on the feedback that I've sent, where, well, I've not told them myself, but where it's got the round type pin charger, and if you're out in your car, you tend to always have a USB hanging around for your phone. So they might have jumped on. Hopefully they have. They've seen the way forward and fitted USB plugs on the backs of them. I was thinking they hadn't done it because it's not as robust, but I mean, things can go in there, and once them little pins short, you've had it. I've had it the same on my camera here that I'm holding in my hand, the Panasonic. That's got this USB plug and that's damaged. I have to charge my battery out of the camera. So it might be on the industrial version, that one there. In fact, mine's actually number C, the middle one. They might have kept the round pin, I don't know, but it's worth having a look. Just an update, just notice it before I go to the axle. Right, I'm on the way to find a spanner to take off those lovely brake lines. Music on at the moment, I have to stay back. I keep getting hit on YouTube for the radio. BBC World Service at the moment can be boring, can be very interesting, just depends how you hit it. BBC 6 music is good sometimes, but it has these weird moments when it's just like, what the hell are you playing? Planet Rock's good, but it's blitzed with adverts now. So I'm just, without getting an MP3 player in here, that's my next job. Right, enough of that. Time to find an 11 or a 12 spanner and get them brake lines off. Let's have a look at them. Okay, 11mm then. I haven't got the cutout 11mm spanner, so I've put the fluid on and I'm just hoping it goes, which it has been doing. So I'm just going to rock it a little bit. I'm not I'm not a mechanic. I'm just like you guys, classic car restorer, learning all the time. Now, there's people who have done this for a living and will know all the right ways to do it. All the various jobs that I'm doing, when it comes down to actually mechanicking work, it's not really my thing. I mentioned about engines. I don't really do engines. I like to just farm that out. It doesn't appeal to me. I do like engines, it's just that I'm not set up for it. I like to module the rebuild, so it's done in sections, and I like assembling all of the parts. I do like welding, as you know, so welding, yes. Bit of metal fab, yeah. Design, yes. Just the straightforward mechanical stuff. Learning all the time, adding a little bit now and again. This is pushing out, and that brake pipe will be seized into this. This would normally start to come out a little bit more, so it's compressing against that. I'll take a bit of tension off it. So there's 2 to do there. We'll do them. I knew the light would have a purpose. There it is. It's going to be my video camera light. I knew I'd got it for a reason. So we'll just we help you at home on YouTube now because we keep you illuminated. I sometimes watch the films back for a second time after I've edited. Just randomly skip through my channel. I don't tend to watch my films more than a couple of times. But notice that some shots I have, the light's not the best, so I'm going to try and help. I won't have it all the time, but to make it better for you at home, we'll put the LED torch on it also. We'll see how long it can power out for. So won't film this bit, I'll just jump ahead, and then we'll free up the brake lines and get them off and put them on the floor. Then we'll get them bushes out of there. I think I've got the extractor tool that size. If not, then I either have to get an extractor tool or chop them. Okay. Right, on I go. Next clip you see these pipes are going to be off. Here we go. I just rock it a bit back and forwards. Keeps it free if you do that. Each turn, then just rock it back again. This one's a little bit more seized than the other side, but the other side's come off good. So we'll carry on, just rock it backwards and forwards each turn. So there, like that, and then do your turn. Okay. Right, I'm just slowly, carefully opening up the ends of the brake securing tabs. Just using a chisel and a light hammer there. So I've just gone under, just tapping it under there like that and slowly curling that up. Don't want to take it too far because they've got a tendency to break these. Well, these ones actually look quite solid, but I'm just taking my time. So I'll go along now and lift those tabs. I've done that one there. Okay, just chisel and a hammer just to top it up. Just tap it up. Take it easy. And I've lifted the back of the tab as well, so that when we shot blast, the shot blast will get underneath the tab at the back. Won't form a rust trap. So I've lifted it both sides just a little bit, and I'll make sure the soda blaster knows to just point the nozzle towards the back of the tab, because it's a trap otherwise for rust. Just at the back of the tab there. Okay, lift them up and then we'll lift the lines off. All the bolts are off, all the nipples are off, all the connectors are off, whatever they're called, ends of the brake lines. Ready to lift these pipes, trying to keep them exactly that shape. Lifting off now, rest of the tabs, and here we go. Okay, all the lines are off, and that's our shape. We're keeping that as a nice copy. These look in good original condition, and that rubber, someone's gone to a great lengths to protect that. That rubber sleeve there just went where it goes over this bracket here. Stabilising bracket for the link arm. I don't know, it could be original Ford thing that. It probably would show it on the exploded parts diagram, but I'll be replicating that with some rubber sleeve, some rubber tube, just slit, piece of rubber, black rubber hose in, slit and put on. We'll make sure we'll fit that, and that'll be a nice little feature on the axle. So with that off, there's actually two of those rubbers, by the way, there's one further up on the other area, so that can go into the back of this car for now. So we've got those for reference, we don't need them just yet. So the next thing we've got to do is we've got to, let's have a look, let's see, don't need to take loosen, no, not loosen those yet, wait till we need that cover at the last minute. That'll stay on until it comes back from soda. We'll leave that nicely sealed, and then we'll take that off when it's back and get it powder coated. So we're going to take the drums off next. Take the drums off and strip the brake parts out, take out the cylinders, and then we can leave the drums off so that Soda Man can get blasted in the back of there. Okay, and we'll cut off the rest of this brake handbrake cable. So we're going on. We'll get then the hardest part. Oh, I'm going to take that tag off right now because I'll forget. That's coming off now. 13 mils on the go, and then the bush is out. Get on with it. Axle tag is off. P72B G400 4B AA 3.7. Looks like 0.1, 3.71 is that? I don't know. M15 on that. 3.71.1M15. Anyway, into storage it goes, into the filing cabinet there for safety. It was 10 mil, not 13. Should know that by now. 10 mil, not 13 on the back ID tag for the axle. Carrying on then. Okay, lever bar just went in at the back and popped that hub. One at the top, then lever at the bottom, then both sides, keeping it even. So opposite sides each time. And that's luckily, whilst it's not been off for I don't know how many years, it's ready to go now. So they're all looking good order, these this axle. Well looked after axle. Someone's been doing the right things with this. So there goes our drum, brake drum off, down the floor. That can go for blasting too, but we'll see, because you can get brake drums pretty reasonable prices, brand new. And there's the insides for the first time, looking pretty clean and well maintained. All the right fittings on there, and hasn't seen a lot of action since they've been fitted. Still galv on the spring washer clips, and a pretty good finish on all the components. So we'll take that apart now, so that we've just got the back of the backing plate exposed, and we'll do the same on the other side. So just going to bag and box the bits up. I'll get new wheel cylinders. They're about 12 quid. So I'll get a new pair, come with all the new seals and everything. So shoes, actually plenty of meat on the shoes there, could be reused. I'll just check them, see what they're like. Again, you can get shoes at half decent prices, so no big deal with that. Just the same on the other side. I won't film that, and then we're done, apart from the void bushes. So strip this and then void bushes next, and that's the axle. Other than that breather tube to find a bolt for, we're ready to take it to the soda blast and get a nice finish on this. Right, leave that with me for a second. We'll strip this down. Again, good long nose pliers, good quality ones, help with this job. These are the releasing washers, if you want to call them that are on the springs which hold the brake shoes in. So I've just nipped it up at the right tension, push and turn, and these lock out the little tabs that they're secured in on. And these long nose pliers should help us unhook these springs as well. Then we're ready to withdraw the shoes. All we've got to do then is unbolt the cylinder from the back. So get yourself a decent set of gripping long noses, as well as your normal mole grips. Explain that on the earlier tool spotting video we did. Stripping down now, I'm going to place the parts into these seal up bags here. Carry on. Just finalising the rest of the brakes. If you want to get your little horseshoe off, see there, that's holding on the brake adjuster lever. The handbrake connects to there. That's the self-adjusting lever here, which works on a ratchet and a little wheel which just keeps the brake shoes tensioned up each time you press the pull the handbrake. Operates this, which turns a little cog. I'll show you the cog. Fits in there, and it's on the ratchets. That's what you call a pawl, and that turns on the threaded bar, which then opens out the adjusting arms, which are coming up now like an adjusting fork, which fits in the unit, and that goes around that area. It's all to do with the automatic handbrake adjuster, but we want to get these replated and look them nice because they're a bit rusty. So flipping it over on the shoe, there's a shoe and a shoe, brake shoe and a horseshoe. So I just get a screwdriver at the back and lever out, and it'll open up and it'll pop out. Then you squeeze them back together. Yeah, I think you get new shoes, because the idea being if you're loosening the tension on that once you've used it. I think you're meant to chuck them, but I'll see if I can get any first. Taking that off now. Okay, with the exception of one of the shoes, just put one in for illustration here. That's all the components of that was the offside, or was it the near side? Near side rear brake drum assembly. So you've got those components. We're going to get those galvanised in zinc, gold passivate, except the adjusting pawl wheel there, just touching it with a hook, and the horseshoe. Everything else will get galvanised springs, and that'll look better. A nice finish. There's some rust on here, not bad, and nothing to worry about. And you could just, there's no need necessarily to do this on a resto, but the opportunity is there to take everything to the galvanizer. So we document these parts so that when we're sifting through the bucket of bits that comes back, we know what to look for to build up one set. So when I get that axle all painted, I'll reassemble it all, be ready. So when Swampy comes from paint, the axle will all be done, ready to go onto the car, so we can just put that straight on. So I'll do the other side exactly the same as this. These go into a bag separate into the box, and I'll make sure that the galvanisers know the small components around, and talk to them whether anything's going to get lost or anything that's too small needs to go in a separate container. So I'll separate these small parts off, and then the springs and those arms there, they can go into the galvanising tub that we did earlier on the earlier video. All I've got to do is take the other side off and do those bushes, and that'll be it for this evening. So off I go with that. I'll show you when we're done. Okay, that's the other side off. That's pretty much how they're assembled there, just for reference. I think that spring's at the bottom there. Check on your Haynes manual just to be sure. We've just got to take that horseshoe clip off there so we can drop that adjuster out of the back. That's quite rusty, that side, so that's ready for some galvanising. Split that down now, get it in the tub. Okay, and here's why your brakes can stick on, or your handbrake adjuster won't work, or something goes wrong at the back, brakes binding. This handbrake adjuster seized, that should pivot on that pin there and spring back on here. I can't operate that, so that's just seized today. Could have done it in storage, but they should be greased when they go on, really, to stop that. So I think that was a common problem on them this season. Up mechanics, let me know, did you encounter this problem? Seized up brake adjuster at the back. I would say that's destined to seize. Not a bad design, but it just needs grease points on there. So I'll unseize that and then drop it in the parts tumbler ready for its zinc coat. I'll get onto that void bush job now. Okay, 10 ring spanner on to loosen up the brake cylinder. It's about to go there now. I'm done with the loosening it off. It's just a question of that, and it's away. So there's your brake cylinder there, ready to go. Do the other side. Oh yeah, I took off the brake adjuster plastic push down lever, the little thing, just end of a socket bar, pop with a little light hammer, little toffee hammer, just tap, and that pops out the top. Put them in bleach and get them nice and clean and ready. A pin there, forgot about that. Into the gal bucket we go with the pin. These off now, other side too. Okay, I said I'd get the bushes out, so I've got the bush extractor here. I've had to use an old another piece of threaded bar because I lost my bolt that goes through this, or rather the bolt I've got for the larger size one doesn't fit into the smaller bush extraction tool. Two different thread sizes. I don't know why. I've mixed and matched up my extractor tools somehow. Anyway, piece of threaded bar there going in, 17mm nut on either end. So I'm just starting to draw the bush through. Luckily it's starting to go, so I've been lucky with this because it's starting to pull it into the housing and pull the bush out into the hollow piece here. So I just keep turning on the spanner. Got a ring spanner on the end, and I've locked the axle so it kicks up and I can turn like that, and that's drawing it through. So I won't bore you with the details, but that's going to push out these void bushes. That's how you use void bush extracting tool. It's one smaller bush going into an empty cavity there, and then you draw it up on the bolt. This isn't a high tensile bolt, it is just a piece of threaded bar, so quite possible it could strip it if this was a stubborn fitting, but it looks like I'm going to get away with it, at least on this side anyway. So I'll carry on and draw that out now, and then the axle's nearly ready to go away for its shot blast. So let's just hope that we are okay on this one. As I said, about a quarter of the way through this side now. I'll carry on just drawing it through. Okay, so we're out there, nice and easy. Wasn't seized in, we're lucky. This axle's been well looked after. So there you go. There you go, there you go. Nice, it's good when something actually doesn't go crazy. I've got to wear glasses, by the way, because I can not see anymore. I think all that welding's done them in, so I've got varifocals here. You saw them on earlier videos. We're now a geek. I'm now an official geek. Don't need them for all the time, but for, you know what it's like when you get old. You gotta have glasses. If you're not wearing them, you'll need them one day. Right, in we go this side. It's a reverse procedure. Not a reverse procedure, I mean a duplicate procedure. I like it when something actually doesn't struggle. So there's our extractor bush. In goes our extractor bush. What's the odds on that this will be difficult? Who knows? Who knows? We just don't know, guys at home. Well, I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Let's have a little chat while we mess around with this. We've got a competition. I want to make sure that everyone's not skipping and they're watching the whole film. We've got a competition, so I've thrown a competition introduction halfway through the show. I'm going to pan the camera around the workshop and I want you to tell me what's new on the wall. So, each month it's what's new on the wall. You spot what's new. It could even be something as easy as a calendar changing across. It could be a new item. But there's going to be what's new on the wall. I want you to have a look round when I'm messing in the workshop. If you spot something that you didn't see pinned to that wall, first comment in gets a prize. It's going to be bits of swampy metal cut up. It's going to be some photographs. I might even get some swampy calendars. But pan round. Let's see if you're watching. I'm looking out on the comments. There's not enough comments. A lot of people watching and no one commenting and no one subscribing. They're just browsing through. We need more. We've only got 1900 subscribers. We should have more because a cat video gets 10 million hits and 5,000 subscribers, and they've only filmed a cat going through a cat flap. Whilst it's always fun to watch a cat go through a cat flap. Why 5 million hits? I'm doing 2-hour films here. So have a look round now and again on the wall. If you spot something, comment on it. First comment coming in, I'll send you some little prizes, Cortina related. Okay, wind up, let's go. It's gonna go in fast motion now. Here we go in fast motion. Oh, righty. Well, that high tensile bolt is not high tensile. I mean, that non-high tensile bolt stripped one end, but it had started to get it through, so just swap the bolt round, and we're off there now. Okie dokie. There we go. So we've got some house music on now to ease the pain. BFBS station. There's less adverts. BFBS ain't bad. I found a station. Adverts aren't coming at you every minute, and they're not sophisticated adverts, so they don't penetrate the brain as easy. BFBS, British Forces. Good one. Good channel. Bit of a mix of stuff, new and old. It'll do. No adverts. That's the main thing, because we know we get brainwashed, and they really get to me, the adverts. Right. I think that's it for that. I'm gonna have a clear up again. All done. Put some stuff away now. Axle's ready to go. Axle is ready to go. We're in the finished product store at the moment. Oh yeah, that's where the cars come when they're done. We've got our green GXL. We've got Swampy over there, all nicely tucked up for the winter, but we have been making a few appearances out and about. Bit of a daily driver in the green one at the moment, but we're here to just pick up the cylinder head. It's got to go away for a strip down and a blast. We want to get this cylinder head looking clean, so while we're soda blasting the axle, I thought we'd just soda blast the cylinder head ready for Warren to rebuild. We're going to get a Kent FR30 cam kit on it, so it doesn't matter if we strip it all back and give that a shot blast. So I'll grab hold of this now, get it in the car, because you know we're taking that axle in. So cylinder head going in. This is an injection head, so we're going to get it checked out and just make sure if it's all alright with that. Off we go for cylinder head. Right, I've got the bumpers up on the trestles because they're going away for re-chroming. First, before we do that, we've got to get off these, which can be stubborn bumper trim securing bolts. I think they're 8s or 10s holding on. I've had the penetrating fluid on these overnight, so we're hoping that they'll go. Now, they've got a habit of just spinning out inside the rubber or snapping. If all these come off, it would be unusual, so it's a normal procedure for them to break. You can get from Bresco, I think it's bresco.com, or if you put in Google Bresco trim fastenings, it'll come up Bresco's website. They sell a bolt, fixing bolt, which is almost fits in the runner of the rubber. I'll show you later on what I mean. The rubber there has got a metal strip inside which the fastener slides into. It's a square tab with the stud attached. There's the stud end, so if you imagine on the other end there, there's a square tab that slides in on the rubber, and you line them up with the holes in the bumper, so you can move those left and right. That one there, left and right. They supply them, they're just a bit oversized, although they may now stock the correct size, but the ones that they fit, ones that Bresco supply, I think are for the side bumper strips of the doors and the wings on the GXL. Anyway, you can just crock sand them down and they slide in. That's what I did on Swampy. The tabs here, just crock sand down the metal square face of it, and you can slide it in. It's dead easy to do. Okay, so that's that for them, and I always grease these when I put them in so that they never spin out again. And then when you reassemble your bumper, grease the back of these, grease the back of your whole bumper. We'll cover that later on. Bumpers on there for stripping down, axle ready to be carried away at the back. Cross down, I brought the head into the workshop, cylinder head. This is an unleaded head. It's got oval inlet ports and a 1988 date stamp on it. If you look in there now, you'll see 88 coming up. Supplied by Martin, thanks for that. Martin got me this. Cam's not going to be used, you can see that's rusted. The cam's not going to be used because we're putting a Kent FR30 cam on the head. So the procedure will be just to strip that back just to the bare head, then take it to very lightly soda blast it, not the face, just the sides, not the top, just the two inlet sides, that's all, and perhaps maybe the front end bit, but they're skimmed in, so we don't really want to be touching that. We just want to be touching the faces here, so that when we do the engine black, it's just nicely going to go on and match the block. So that's the head. So we're assembling bits. It's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. We're finished on the bucket of bolts and bits. There's the hub. The hubs, front hubs are in as well. They're clean because they're getting galved. Now I think they were originally in black, but I galv them. The black with the heat and that doesn't last, so I like the galv can withstand the heat. I think that's a good move. I've done it on Swampy and they're still nice and gold. Or did I? I'll have to check. That might be wrong actually. We're using a light to help just get the contrast more uniform on the camera. There's a couple more bits in the tumbler just to pull out. Got a magnet in there, some screws. So I'm going to press on and get these rubbers off for you, and we'll get these bumpers and overriders off for rechrome. There's the overriders there, they need rechrome. They're solid, just need rechroming. Got some new old stock ones for the front which are alright, I won't touch them. I have got a new old stock bumper, I'm not going to use it. And this bumper's good, it just needs a rechrome. I'll flip the bumper over, just have a look at this side. So there's your bumper strip, which is in good order on this one, to be fair. And there's the chrome. It's not rusted or hold through, just wants rechrome. The Ford never did a good chrome service anyway, so it's best if you're doing a really good job on your car to have them rechromed with triple plate, and let the boys do that at the chroming place. I'm sending these off. I'm not sure the name of the company that's doing it. I will supply that later on. There's some bumper irons there which have already been powder coated. They're a bit dusty, but they've been powder coated. So strip down now, 8s or 10s. Looks like 8. Could be 10. You know, my eyes just 8s and 10s. Let's get them. Let's get on with them. Oh, by the way, before I go on that, light off. This is the new Sealy one. Okay, finished in lime green. Yeah, another Sealy torch there, and they have changed them now to USB. So checked, found out, and this one we've bought another one today for the other engineer. So that'll be going out. In fact, I've given him my red torch, and I'm getting the USB one. So yes, the Sealy range have gone on micro USB, which is good news. Makes it a lot easier. You get a car charging lead with them now, which I don't think I got before. Or if I did, it was certainly the round pin type. So as said, fully recommended. Right, carry on stripping them bolts. Just thought I'd let you know on the torch. Earlier on we were asking about that USB connector at the back there, but yeah, it's changed with a rubber flap on the end. Okay, no problem. Well, I can't see any of these really going. I've got 1 or 2 off out of the whole lot. They're all just going to spin around. You can feel them go, and then all of a sudden it'll spin around inside the bumper strip, and it'll wreck the bumper strip. That's the problem you've got. Have a look on this one, and you'll see here there's a lip where it's bulged out, and that's where the clip's rotated round and spun round inside itself. Now you can straighten that up, and with the new clip you can get away with it and repair it back, but I don't want to stress any more of these out on these bumper strips, so I'm going to have to come up with a technique to get these off. So I'm thinking of croc sanding in and taking the heads off the easy accessible ones. There's going to be a bit of over crocking onto the bumper, but it's at the back, it's not going to go through, so you're going to scuff the inside face of the bumper getting these off unless you're mega careful. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get the croc sander, load it up with a fresh belt. We're just going to see how easy it eats through one of these. It might not be too bad. The other way is a slip disc on the angle grinder wheel, and you just hit the bolt straight in the middle and go down, and it should crack in half. So these ones probably easy with a slip disc. Very carefully bring it in, because the advantage with the slip disc, the leading edge, the highest point of the circle, is going to be just cutting straight into the bolt, so it should not do any outside damage. So slip disc on quite a few of those, I would have thought, would be the quickest way. And then the ones you can't get the angle grinder cutting disc into, then you have to just feed the croc sander in. Could go in with a die grinder as well, but it'll bounce about a lot. I would say croc sander in for those tricky ones, and then try a slip disc. Let's try loading up with a slip disc first. What I'll do, I'll get some cloths, I'll G-clamp this down to the trestle so it doesn't fly about. Then we'll put the slip disc on the angle grinder, and I'll go in carefully, and let's see if we can split these troublesome bumper mounting bumper strip bolts. So I'll load up now the slip disc and angle grinder, and then I'll stick you on the tripod. Let's have a go. Okay, you can see the slip disc there, and then hold on, I'll take my headphones ear protectors off. So I cut in really out, just straight down. Now I can see that I'm going to be able to just snap that. I'm going to be able to snap that straight off. So that looks like the easiest way to do the easily accessible ones. Let's just see now if we can. In fact, you might find that it just breaks with the socket on it. It might do. I'll give that a shot now. If I move across here, we've got that socket, or we've got the 10mm spanner. So take it across and just see. You never know, that might just crack off. It's just collapsing, but there you go. It's split in half. There you go. It has done. What we say? There you go. That's what we say. I can just lightly tap it with a toffee. So that's broke off. So we do the same procedure across. Take the mag light up. Same procedure across all of those. So we we just slit down and there's no outside damage there. Should be able to get most of those. Alright, I'll have a go at cutting the rest of them now. Okay, by slitting the middle of the bolt, it actually allows the nut to come up and just collapse itself inwards, which this one now will actually unscrew, as opposed to just snapping off like the other one did. So there's various ways, but by just putting that slit in there, now we are, and I'll just move the light back across. You can see that it's collapsed it in enough for this now to loosen off. Some might be completely welded together and that technique wouldn't even work, in which case crack the end of the nut open like this one was. So just the same procedure, there's no need for me to film the whole lot of this, but I've gone along and slit them all. If you see there, that one's broken in half. Best to do it that way rather than damage by spinning them out of the rubber, because they're hard enough to get hold of, them rubbers anyway. So same will go on the back bumper, same procedure will do. The angle grinder was able to get into that one there, just coming up to the curve of the bumper. These I won't be able to reach, so they'll be belt sanded off, and I'll let you know how the belt sander goes. We might just do a quick clip of the belt sander going in, but you've seen the belt sander on the earlier videos in the series, and it's a handy versatile tool to use. So we're going to put a new belt on that and then go in. Then I'll show you everything all removed. Right, let's go straight in with the belt sander. I've just set you up on the, hope you can hear me alright. I've set you up on the tripod and I'm going to go in, glasses on. I'm just going to adjust the angle of the crock sander. That's why they're good. You can just lock an angle where I can quite nicely get to this. So just get in just there. So off we go. Let's see how hard this is. Right, just a couple of minutes and it's ground down. Might change belts between bolts, and that belt might do 2 bolts. Belt, bolts, belt, bolts, belts, do bolts. Don't touch it yet because it'll be hot. Ah, it wasn't that bit that was hot. There was a washer there then. Well, just tap that, I'll probably just break that. I can keep going if I want. A couple of slips there, see them? Oh, they're not going to be noticed on the inside and they're not dug in. So I could either pry that with a screwy or keep going, but I don't want to get too close to the edge of here. Looks like there's a little hole at the side of this as well. We'll have to investigate. One more to do and then onto the other side. So yep, crock sander works for those as well. So combination crock and slip blade, and that'll safely salvage your bumper rub if it's a good one that you've got on there. There's no marks on it. It's the only way I can think of without damaging the rubber. On to another job. I won't film the back bumper, I'll just let you know how it went on. Okay, over and out for this bit. Just want to show you an example of the tools working for your advantage and having the right stuff. So I've angled the crock sander, the power file, so that I can easily get in just there nice, and it's got good grip on my hands, and just get in to take that bolt head off. And then there's the torch working its magic, just using the torch end of the torch on the swivel mount there on the mag mount. So I'm on a trestle with the torch straight into the bolt head with an angle on the angle power file, and it makes life easy. You're not struggling. This is just a nice clinical job now, just to nicely extract that. So just an example of getting, once you've got your tools lined up, your essential tools. So the torch forms one of the essential tools, as does a power file, which you probably, hopefully you'll get a good quality one. Mine's just an off-the-shelf B&Q special, but it's still going. But I would rate, for a lot of work, try and find a decent tool manufacturer to get your power file from. Even a good one second hand, if it's a good make second hand. So just letting you know that we're going in no problem here. Look, so I'll carry on with the rest of the bolts, but going in great. Alright, see you for the next part. Okay, so first bumper stripped down, no problem there. The rubber's off there. You can see why they're seized up. If you look at that, the nuts all the way along, they're not the best protected, and they're right at the front of the car. So that's what you're up against. That's why you've no choice but to go in and cut. And that system works. You don't get any damage to the rubber. It doesn't spin that round. I mean, if you turn hard enough, you can just snap the bolts and shear the bolts without spinning that disc. But the problem is that some of them, you try and get a bolt off here, hoping it'll snap the shaft so you don't have to do this cutting operation. But you can rotate the square back of the head, and then you can't get it off anyway. And also, not only then, but you punch out through your side of your rubber, because this square head will rotate, because they're actually an oblong shape. I say square head, it's an oblong. So the oblong will try and tear and distort also the run, so you then having to squeeze and reshape your bumper run. The bumper's a sort of rubber wrapped around a metal frame, so it's best to keep that so it doesn't try and turn out, and that's why we did it that way. Same again onto the back bumper now, not as many to do. So that's ready to be packaged. We're going to bubble wrap this now to send off to the Chrome. The Chrome company has a collection service, so you just phone them up and they have a van that's running around nationwide, so it makes life easy for you, which I think is a great idea. Saves you having to go to the post office or the courier yourself. They're arranging pickup, so you have to just get it in on their next nearest pickup run. So bubble wrap these individually, then group them together and tape them up. A pair going off plus the underriders. So we're nearly ready. Then they can come back and go into stock. And at some point I'll be loading the axle into the Mondeo. Cam belt tension has just gone on the Mondeo. It's rattling like something that rattles, like an old washing machine. So I've got to get that fixed. Plenty to do. I like to think we're all learning together as we all go along. Me learning, you guys learning, watching in YouTube land, guys and girls watching out there on YouTube. let's all go along and learn it all together, because I don't know everything, do I? I'm just recording what I learn as I go, and that's the best way, and that's the great thing about YouTube, isn't it? There's nothing better these days now, and you want to try and work out how something's done. Aren't we all finding we're banging it into YouTube? So I found out that you just, on some of the bolts anyway, this doesn't apply to all the stubborn ones, but if the half got half a chance, just take the head off it, then the heat tends to finish the job, and some of them you can wind off. So I wound that one off. I've wound that one off without having to grind all the way down. So here's one I've not tried yet. Just brought the crock sander in, took the part of it off, go in with the 10mm, and we see if it'll do it. They don't all do it. That one won't. That one's really spinning. Didn't work with that one, but I'll not give up hope just yet. So it just saves you having to go. That one's gone. So that's helped save us a lot of time. See, just took half of it off. So there we go. Okay, that one went all right. So just one that didn't do by slightly grinding the head. So we're off there, So just another tip we all learn together. You just try it and see how you can get on easing those out. So I'll just carry on and just grind the hell out of that one. That's totally spinning, so that's definitely a candidate for a full-on grind in. And then just leaving me 5 more up that end. I think it's 5, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5 more up that end. And then both are ready for packaging. Plucked and ready for pot. Ooh, our chrome is getting it's all stripped down and ready to go. We'll bubble wrap it up, it's ready to go. Underriders at the back. Front ones are okay. They're okay, because the front ones were new. Back ones, just some slight, but not bad. The chroming guys will do the stuff on those. Bumper stripped down. We've got one dent there, so I've marked it out for the chrome guys to pick up on. They'll knock that back in and make sure it's buffed, fixed and filled. Back bumper looks okay, so hopefully they're going to come back all nicely new old stock, triple chromed. So bumpers to bubble wrap. We're on for all the parts getting sent away, so let's go and see those nuts and bolts. Before I forget, nuts and bolts, our plastics are starting to roll into town now. So plastic in ruby red, coming back from the painters, coming back from Hydrocoat from Dippers. Tam's doing the plastics. So that is what you call colour coat, plastic coat, vinyl coat. It's actually colour coat. It's actually different than vinyl coat. Same company, but it's a plastic ABS paint. Slightly different chemical layout than the vinyl one. Door cards have gone away. I didn't film that. I'll show you the door card bits. Hang on. Door cards are just down here. We've sent one away, one sample door card away to see how the vinyl coat goes onto the door card. Stripped them down ready though for the rest of them to go. So that's door card. Oodles of spares in the drawer. Waiting for the big assembly day. Oodles and oodles. That's that brake band master cylinder identification tag. There's other things in all these drawers. You open the drawers and we've got everything stored away and ready. Little bits and bobs that have been getting done. There's a nice perspex there for the dashboard. We talked about that in the earlier videos, the perspex. So that one's come in. Perspex for the dash front. That doesn't need to get done now. So there's all sorts of various parts we're starting now to access. Prior to that we didn't need to. Alright, so let's go and see the nuts and bolts. I know you've seen them before, but I'm just going to hand sort through these now. I've just got to take out the very small screws. So the large items, anything over 4BA goes in here. So anything under 4BA we've got to keep in a separate box because it doesn't go in the same machine. So I've just got to hand sort out all the little bits. It's going to take me a while, so let me delve into there and just get the big items out first. That'll take a while, we won't film that bit. Catch you on the next job. Right, I've gone through and we're just down to the very small bits. Some of them are probably still big enough to go through. I don't actually know how small is small for the galves guys, so I'm just going to take them this bucket and then we'll ask them if there's anything in there too small. It could be that there's just a few small little Phillips head screws, perhaps something like that. I'm sure that we've done that, the small screws before. So all the larger items into there, hand-picked through. I can confess that I've hand-picked every nut and bolt on the car personally. All those are hand-picked out. That took a while. That took a bit of patience, I'm telling you, hand-picking through all those. It enabled me to make sure that I had a full set of these screws which go into the door striker plates. There you go, that door striker plate there. It enables me, I need a full set of 32 for those. There's 8 for each door, for the closer and the latching mechanism and the post. So I needed 32, and they're a high-vis item because when you open your doors and you're looking at the quality of the work, you want those to make, you know, you don't want to be finding that you didn't galv all your screws and you've got to put a rusty one in on the set. So they're the ones that go into this plate. And then also the other side, the door lock and catch, there has another 4. So we wanted to make sure we had a set of 32, which we have. And I'll keep them in a separate bag, just in case the galv guys say, no, you can't do these. Then they've all got mixed in, and I'll have to give these to another place that can handle that size, but I'm sure they can. I think I'm just getting worried over nothing there, but I just wanted to cover all bases. So that little job out of the way, let's move on to something else. A sea of bubbles. Okay, wrapping up. Some bubble wrap there for the bumpers, so just get 2 of those individually wrapped, then bungle them all together, and the underriders. Any other chrome bits, I'm not quite sure there's anything else for chrome plate. We'll bubble wrap these bumpers now and get them away. Okay, I'm wrapped and ready to rock, all bubble wrapped up, and we go now to just leave this by the front door because these boys, S&T Chrome, they're going to pick it up. They send a courier out, which makes it handy. I met these guys at the NEC, and it just made life easy for me because I could just parcel up and they send the van round. So away we go to S&T for the Chrome. Let's see what they can do. Guys, little diversion for you between the video. You're on part 25, don't worry. Okay, so those chrome bumpers are got away. Next we'll do the galvanising buckets, and we're going to keep everything running nice and smooth for you down in YouTube land. It's the evening time, it's 8 o'clock. I've finished with the car for the day, so I'm just going to play around with a new toy. This just come in on a courier. I paid van and man to collect within a Luton tail lift. Won this on eBay for 199 quid, which is a really good price for this piece of kit. This is a 76 Roami T12 jukebox, and on now the 70s video, I don't know if you've been across to the channel and flick through, I've got some what's inside the 70s tech vids going up. First one I did was a electromechanical fruit machine. The next vid I'm doing is a little preview for that part on the 70s series, what's inside. The next one's going to be on a jukebox. The jukebox you're looking at here came in off eBay. Now I'm familiar with this box because I've got one at home, and that's the jukebox that's going to be featuring on the next film. But I was browsing eBay and I saw this, and I want this for another location. I'm going to put it into stores. They're that good that I couldn't let it pass by on eBay. Now it came in with a fault. Quite a few faults on the record deck, which is down here. I'm not going to go through it all because you'll get all how this works in the 70s part 2 video that I put up. So look out for it. It's called What's Inside the 70s, and that'll be episode 2. 76 jukebox coming up on that one. Anyway, suffice to say that I've repaired the fault on this. I'm not going to talk you exactly through it, but just letting you know that We do other jobs as well as the Cortina. We're messing around with other kit, always keeping something restored, rebuilt, repaired. We love it. You want to know how this thing works and what we did to repair it, then pop across to that video when it's uploaded. It should be up soon. Have a look now, it might be up now. Don't forget to subscribe as well. We need more people subscribing, because you never know when the new vids are out. Plus, don't forget the hidden prizes that we're doing. And then, just because I had the van out, guess what I bid on as well? And this has already been covered, although this model wasn't. Look, we bought another electromechanical. This is a 10-up electromechanical machine. It's in good nick. Running, just needs a few little tweaks to get it exactly how I want it, but same idea as we discussed in the fruit machine video. What's inside the 70s part 1, we covered fruities, electromechanical ones, another electromechanical, and nice and clean, and some good gameplay on this. It's got a little ringy dingy bell that rings when you get a win, which we like, so I'll demo that in another film. But that came in on the same shipment. I thought I'll maximise my transport, so I threw the fruity on. They were in the same area, so the van guy picked up 2 items for me today. I'm going to carry on getting this going. It's nearly finished now, nearly repaired. I found all the faults and I'm nearly done. Yeah, so we're on the road. We're going to take a quick look at the car. Just a preview of next month's video, part 26. A little bit more car prep work will go on, so we'll just have a quick little sneak into the body shop. They're about to start, or they've started last couple of days on the paint. They just drop onto it when they can. We're just keeping the cost down, so we're not in a rush to rush them ahead. Let's nip in and have a little look. Oh, right, a quick clip for you. We're just down in the body shop, and they're on with getting this prepped up. So here's the car getting prepped. Told you we'd just give you a little clip for the end of the film. There you go. I couldn't really comment much on there. One guy was on his phone and the rest of them were all busy, and a customer was in, one of their clients was in picking up a car, so I couldn't really say much there just on the film, so it was a bit of just a quick clip there. So we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon for this part 25, because we're running at about an hour and a half. Alright, so a couple more clips and then we're wrapping it up. Oh wow guys, the low level lighting quality on me Sony Zacti is not quite exacty. The Panasonic DX10 has just gone, so we're back to the Zacti, so I'm on eBay to get another Panasonic. So we're going to have to end part 25. I don't want to film anymore with this camera, so we'll just use this to finish the show. I'll bang in some bonus clips at the end, a little bit of light entertainment, and we thank you for watching part 25, and we'll see you for 26. It's been a bit of a plod. 25, bit of a just all necessary stuff, no high octane stuff for you this time. How you like that sneak preview of the shell and a little intro to the jukebox. We'll catch you soon. Let's get rid of this camera. We'll use it for daytime use only. It's fine in the day, it's just no use for nighttime, low level stuff. Over and out for 25. Hope you enjoyed. Hasta la vista. I'm having an early finish and a nice dinner and some beers. It's an early finish for me. I've put plenty of hours in. Over and out. All the best. Don't forget, comment and subscriptions. As always, keep us going. Help me with the channel. You know you can do it. Did you spot those mystery prizes as well? I think there was something just on the wall. You had to freeze frame it. I forgot to pan round, but it should still be visible. I'll see you later. Over and out. Good night. What we do, right? Make it look 80s, slightly attitude. If you give us that look, then, right, okay, so it's not full on, but it's on its way. Okay, ready, let's go. Perfect. Go, can you put your leg up, keep right leg. Right, can you reckon you can lift it up? Too heavy, isn't it, to lift up?
No, that's good.
No. Good job. Back up. Be careful. You shut down that, right, okay, now. Right, now look at straight. Right, that's it. Perfect. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. I'm done, mate.
Yeah. So